welcome everyone. We're excited to have you here. We're doing little doses of learning that we call mini courses this fall. I'm just going to let Charlton introduce himself first, and then I'll jump in.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charlton Jimerson. I'm part of the Classroom Success team here at Writable.
And I'm Heidi. I'm one of the co-founders of Writable, and we are often on chat, helping customers, helping teachers get assignments set up. We often get onto screen shares and support teachers as they get started. So we're excited to meet everyone. So what we're going to do today is give you a little taste of what Writable is all about. And then we'll show you how two ways you can use it with Canvas, both from the teacher experience and the student side. Of course, how grades sync, and then some tips that we're already hearing from customers this fall to just be more successful with your Canvas and Writable journey. So just because there are some new folks on the phone, maybe you're brand new to Writable or you just are starting to use it, you heard maybe it was purchased for your district. Writable helps students be more engaged in the writing process. It adds scaffolding and really kind of supports them, whether they're just doing a quick write all the way up to a longer process writing piece. Generally, schools start with this in one of these three areas. So there's about 1,000 practice assignments that you can pull from to save yourself on some prep time. There's also feedback options. So we have, whether it be peer review or self-review, or, if some people like Turnitin, or some of our AI grading support. So that's a nice way to get some feedback to the students earlier in the writing process, which gives them the support they need to be successful as writers. And finally, some districts are already jumping into their common writing assessments at this time of year. So we've got some big districts that will come and do all their writing assessments across a district in Writable and really help to roll that information into instructional planning and whatnot. So if you're brand new and you just want like a 2-minute video, there's that link here, and a PDF maybe to pass to other team members that are new to the program here. And the next thing is, this is a 7-minute video. We're not going to play it here because that's why we're on a live webinar, but nice resource in the slides. If you go into the slides that Becky shared, that just recaps everything we're about to go over in about 7 minutes. So why would you, again, use Writable and Canvas together? Well, you're probably in Canvas, as your LMS of choice every day, and your students are in there too. So we need to make it easier for you to find your assignments in Writable directly from Canvas. So whether you're creating assignments, whether you want to sync your rosters, and most importantly, you want to get your grades from Writable to Canvas, all of that happens with the integration that we have between the two. So we'll show you that. And when you think about the two ways we work together, and think about which way feels more natural to you, I'm going to show you one way, and then Charlton's going to show you the other way. The first way we're going to go over is all from within Canvas. So inside Canvas, you can use the external tool area and just do plus assignment and make a Writable assignment directly in Canvas. And I would say that's what 80% of teachers do when they're new to Writable, just because you're used to using Canvas every day, and that feels really kind of easy and simple. The other way that Charlton will go through is being able to log into Writable and push your assignments from Writable out to Canvas. So either way, you're going to be using Writable to prep your assignment. So we feel like this one's easy as well, because just a nice way to prep and then push the assignment out over to your students who are in Canvas. So think about which way, as you listen tonight, might be best for you and your team. But no matter which way that you choose, it's important to realize that all the students, no matter which way you do it, are going to find their assignments in Canvas. So they're just going to go into Canvas and find their Writable assignments. And again, we need to save them time. They're busy too, and they're used to doing everything in Canvas. So we'll fit right in there. And then the same thing on the gradebook side. Every time you grade in Writable, you're going to see the score populate in your Canvas gradebook. So no double entry, scoring to deal with, just grade once. The score kind of travels where it needs to travel back to your Canvas gradebook. And then I don't know if we have any kind of Canvas administrators on the phone, but if what you're seeing in our experience tonight doesn't look like what it looks like in Canvas for you, that might mean that you're not set up yet with us. We have been on Canvas for, I think this is going on the 3rd school year, Even if you used us last year, you still need to go through this setup form to get the new features that we're going to talk about tonight. So forward this URL to your Canvas administrator, or if you are a Canvas administrator, feel free to kind of reach out and we can set up a quick screen share. It's pretty easy, but it all starts with you filling out a form. All right, so I'm gonna actually now jump over live into Writable, and then we'll talk about that first way. Just because we do have some new folks on the phone, I wanted to give everyone just a quick glimpse into what Writable looks like and what it's really here to support for you. When you first come into Writable, you're looking for an assignment that you might want to assign to your students, or of course you can create your own assignment at any time. This is super easy if, some people are makers and some people are creators. We kind of support both paths. At this time of year, it's sort of nice to browse what we've already put together, and you might find something that's, kind of quick and easy way to get to know your students' writing at this point in the school year. So for example, one of the things I love is our new social emotional learning collection. And this is all based on the CASTLE framework, which is a nice way of just kind of getting to know your students. So for example, you could always go preview any assignment and the prompts that are included in it. So maybe you want to have them write about write about a time you practiced a skill and got better. There's prompts in here about getting to know you, of an important person in your life, something that's changed you as a person. So they all tie to a part of the SEL framework. But this is kind of what you would do. You'd preview the assignment and decide, do I want to copy it over to my assignments? The other things that we have in Explore, I'm not sure if we have anyone joining us that's using HMH curriculum, but if you've got HMH curriculum that you own, that would show up inside Writable. A lot of great things under curricular resources, differentiated assignments where there's 3 levels of scaffolding for your students, or just some quick grammar practice. Our poetry collection has been recently relaunched. So lots of great stuff, and you really are browsing through here, finding something to start with, or again, creating your own assignment. And that's basically where you'd start. I'm gonna actually head over to Canvas now and close out of here. And kind of think about that first way we talked about. So remember, just to remind everyone, there's 2 ways that teachers can use Canvas and Writable together. And I'm about to go through the first one, which is this. So how would I use Writable and Canvas together if I'm in Canvas first, right? So I'm going to go through this. And so I'm in Canvas. And I know that your course images are probably more sophisticated than ours, but we've got a dog and a cat here on the first 2. And so if I'm in a course here, and this is once you've had your Canvas administrator install Writable. So if you don't see what I'm seeing, again, Becky will put the URL in the chat that you need to send to your Canvas administrator. But the first thing you'll see is a Writable bookmark here on the left-hand side of the course navigation. So you can click that and go right into Writable. You can also create an assignment with basically Writable as an external tool. So I'm going to show that. Let's say that I was going to make an assignment, and you guys probably do this every day, but if I say informational paragraph, and I can fill in details, I'm going to just make it a low number of points. You can obviously choose your grade display. The most important thing here is you want to make sure you're in external tool, and then you're going to click find. And you'll browse through, you'll want to find the one that just says Writable. I have a few extra Writables, but you'll just have one. And that's just opening a window into Writable, into your My Assignment list in Writable. So here you've had to at least have chosen something in Writable or prepped something. So I either pulled these from that Explore page, or I made an assignment. And now what I'm doing is I'm just linking that Canvas assignment to the Writable assignment. So I'm going to pick this Meet Stevie Quick Write. And then I'm going to be asked, well, what do I want my students supported with during this assignment? So here, a lot of great feedback options in Writable. We always say at the beginning, start small. There's no need to turn on every support in the first 5 minutes that students are using the program. You know, a lot of times people will start with a self-review at this time of year. That just lets students revisit their own work an extra time and think critically about their revision. But you could also turn on, you know, our AI features, which will help support them with grammar, with structure and organizational feedback, and as well as with Turnitin, which is built into Writable. So I'm going to select this assignment. So that's going to really just create and then select. So that just that click of that button has linked my Canvas assignment with my Writable assignment, right? And so Canvas is kind of the boss of this assignment because Canvas is where I'm setting my due dates and where I kind of, you know, start my day every day. So I like to also click, we really recommend clicking this box, which is load this tool in a new tab. So this just helps, I'll show this in a minute for the student side, but it helps the students be able to see Writable in a separate browser window, which just lets them go full screen and it's a little bit easier for them to navigate. And then I'm going to put a due date of next Friday. And then I would do save and publish or save, depending on what you're doing. And that's really made my Writable assignment. So if I want to launch that assignment as a teacher, I can. And what I'm going into right now as a teacher in Writable is just my home base to start my feedback and my grading. So here it's pretty empty because no students have started, but as students start to write, I'm going to come back and show you, you know, your roster will fill in down here. So let's head over to a student experience now and see how they would find this assignment. And so I'm now kind of heading over into student mode inside Canvas, and I've got this informational paragraph in my course. And I'm going to load it. And what will come up is our student dashboard. So this is just keeping students on track. It's going to give a little description of the assignment. And then on the left-hand side, it'll help monitor their progress from a writing and reading perspective, if there's a reading included. And on the right, it's going to tell them, you know, if you've assigned self-review or peer review, it will sort of help track their goals over on the review side. So this is like their home base in Writable, but it was all one click away from Canvas. And then I'm going to head into this. And so every assignment in Writable, if you're brand new to Writable, maybe you've not seen what an assignment looks like in Writable, but essentially if there's a reading passage, it always appears on the left. And, you know, what you can do is, in this case, we're giving students a choice of lexile, but many assignments just come with one reading. If you're using HMH curriculum, like into literature or into reading, those materials would show up on the left as well. The student would then read their prompt and they would start to write. And, you know, they can write over several sessions. It's going to save their work. And then what they really want to pay attention to is this little tab over on the right, where they're going to open up their student-facing checklists and kind of rubric items. And before they hit submit, they're just looking through to make sure, did I accomplish my goals as a writer on this assignment? And when they hit submit, it doesn't mean they're done forever. It just means, let's say that you told them, get it done by Wednesday end of day, or get your first draft in by Thursday end of day. This submit button is going to basically send that submission over to the teacher for some feedback, or to peers or to themselves, depending on how your feedback settings are. So with that, any questions popping up in chat? And otherwise, I'm going to go grade this and show you how the gradebook works with Canvas. So if I go back to this course that I was in, where I had a Writable assignment, to just monitor progress and see where are my students at in terms of, you know, completing the assignment and just how are they doing. Maybe I want to give a little bit of quick feedback early in the assignment. I just click on the assignment and going to load it in a new window. And this is going to open the assignment dashboard. So now I'm seeing, okay, half of my students have submitted some writing and I haven't graded anything yet. So maybe it's time to go take a look. This center portion will start to show you, you know, who's struggling with what. I would notice right away that maybe my students are struggling with grammar. And if I click on that, I can actually sort my roster below by who's struggling with grammar specifically. If I'm doing more standards-based grading or skill-based grading, once I start to give feedback, the same bars will appear. And you can always sort your roster and kind of decide. You may not have time, obviously, to grade everything at the same time. So this is a nice way to just pick off a couple people, between class periods or where you have a prep, and give some feedback to keep students moving along. So here I'm already noticing that Jack is writing right this very moment, which is great. So I can actually intercept him because he's writing right now and give him some words of encouragement. That's what we allow. So we're pulling in his latest draft. And even if he's not done yet, you can see his latest draft. So kind of like opening up a Google Doc, we're just giving you that instant look into the paper or into the submission and seeing where he is at. What could I tell him to help him along? So maybe I want to say, this is a great start. Keep it at just something quick because I see that he's online. That's just almost like an instant conferencing feature. We call it live feedback. But if I want to move into understanding what is the AI, like what are some of these grading supports telling me, I could kind of open up Grammar Aid and see, red means maybe some spelling errors. Yellow is more syntax and word choice and style. And then blue is punctuation. So in this case, something's happened here with the line wrapping, but there's probably some punctuation issues like missing commas that's causing that. I could flip over to, I know a lot of our secondary teachers use originality check to just make sure that students are, kind of being original and citing evidence correctly. So this will open up Turnitin, and it'll tell me that here, this score is very scary. So this score is basically saying that the student has definitely cheated because it's 99% similar to something else on the internet, and it will usually give you that source. And then Revision Aid kind of gives you tips on structure. So this is actually fairly helpful because here, if I don't have time to give a ton of feedback and I'm not doing a formal grade yet, and I just want to glance and see, well, what's Revision Aid saying? It's kind of saying there's too many details here. So maybe they need to focus their paper a little bit. Some students write a lot and then focus it down in a later revision. So if I take all of that, kind of think about it as a cheat sheet in your back pocket. The AI is just helping you know how to give more targeted feedback earlier. But ultimately, you're going to get to grade the student with the rubric of your choice, right? So this can be your favorite rubric. This can be pulled from our assignment came with this rubric, but you can change wording. You can put in your favorite district rubric or your personal rubric that you've used for many years. So imagine this is your rubric and you just read the submission on the left. And then you kind of think, well, Revision Aid told me that there's a few too many details. I do see that the student here is citing a lot of great evidence from the paper, which is what the prompt asked. But this one, okay, so this piece of evidence doesn't really say why it matters. So maybe I'm going to say, I see over here that I have a rubric item about supporting with facts and details. So I would probably say, let's put this in that color and say, can you connect this piece of evidence a little better to your main idea? So, I can put a quick note in there. And if I'm going to give them a 2-star in this, at least they know why. They can come in when they get this feedback and hover over the feedback and say, okay, I understand why she gave me a lower score. Main idea, I love their hook. I love their main idea. Just need to work a little bit on the polish, and they look like they have a decent start on their conclusion. So that's really how you would give feedback. We also have audio and video feedback. So a little bit more if you want to give some words of encouragement, and maybe you have a learner who needs a little bit of a visual. Well, I could just go in here and say, great job, Charlton, I love where you're going with this. I would love to see you tighten your evidence up a little bit, and then I think you're good to go. And that just in 2 seconds, let me record that on my own computer without having to figure out Screencastify or anything else. And it just puts it right in there for the student. So that's an option. And then you click submit. So as soon as I click submit, I have given this student a 78%, maybe a little harsh because the writing's actually not too bad. So 78%. Well, where does that go in Canvas? So I've graded in Writable. And then I want to make sure to save myself some time that this goes into Canvas. So if I come back into my gradebook in the course, it should be right here. So the informational paragraph 77.5%. So that's kind of how it integrates. You grade in Writable and the grade goes to your Canvas gradebook.
Okay, so as we discussed, there's another option for assigning writable assignments to Canvas. I just want to bookmark this once again that Heidi went through earlier in the webinar. If you click this, if you have this Writable link present because your Canvas admin has set you up correctly and the integration is configured with Writable, you will have this Writable link on your left-hand course navigation menu. And when you click this Writable link, it will provide you with an import classes button. So I will show you what that looks like following a click from within your Canvas course. So I'm gonna log in as the teacher, and because there's no sign in with Canvas option, you can use your Google or Microsoft logins. And so I'm going to use a Google account to log in as the teacher. And it's the same look and feel as when you click on it from within Canvas. Takes you right over to our site. And under classes, I can see which classes are currently in my account. Just like the start of the school year, you like to get yourself prepared in the classroom and set things up for the upcoming school year. Well, if you don't see your classes here, you might want to make sure you got this all set up for the current year and just take a look at what's under your current classes and possibly, archive some of the classes that you no longer need. But if I click this import Canvas classes button, because it's present after that setup, it may ask you to verify and authenticate your account. We want that additional security. We don't want anybody getting into your Canvas environment. And then your course list will show up. And then you can select one or many courses to import at this time. So, if you select more than one, it may take some time, but one shouldn't take too long. Just click import, and the class is now there. So I have a class that I would like to assign my assignment to, and this is our inside out route where we're inside of Writable and we're going to push it out to Canvas. So if I go to my assignments, I've got an assignment here. I call it opinion and paragraph Canvas. I click on it to open up the assignment options, and then I click the plus assign button. Here I can select the class to assign it to. I'm going to go ahead and select Fall 2021 Section 2, and I'm going to click Next. As Heidi displayed earlier, the assignment options are there to be enabled. The student supports and all the self-review and peer review options are there as well. But most importantly, we want to check the Create in Canvas box so that the assignment is pushed out to Canvas and is present in the Canvas course for students to access. So I clicked Assign, and I've assigned it to the Fall 2021. And as you can see, when I go back in here, I have the two students on the roster. So now when I go to my Canvas Fall 2021 course, Section 2, you will see my opinion paragraph dash Canvas assignment there for the students to access. So that was the second way you can create an assignment in Canvas, from starting within Writable and pushing it out to Canvas. The key thing there is just to make sure you're all set up so that when you click the Writable link here on the left, that import Canvas classes button is present in your Writable account. All right, we have a few tips for Canvas users. So I'm going to scroll to our tips here in our slide deck. So we we want to start again by looking at our classes. If we don't have the classes in our account that we're expecting, go ahead and make sure you've imported those correct classes, as I mentioned. If you have some that you don't want to be present in your Canvas account, you can archive them. That's Writable's way of getting them out of the way. We don't actually delete them. We archive here at Writable. And then you may or may not see some students with a light gray text. That just means the student hasn't launched yet if it's light gray. The account is there, it's ready and available for the student. The student just hasn't clicked the assignment and access Writable to access their student account. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, we acknowledge that we have HMH users, and those HMH users use HMH Ed. It's important that you launch Writable at least once to initiate the account from HMH Ed, and then you can use that HMH content to assign Writable assignments that ultimately are placed in your Canvas account for your students to access. So as long as you launch from Ed first into Writable and then assign to your Canvas courses, students shouldn't have any issues getting into Writable if it's an HMH account. Another tip is to connect your Google or Microsoft accounts when you are prompted to do so. A lot of times we like to hit the skip or not right now because we're in a rush, but I encourage you all to take some time to connect your account, because ultimately you could end up with duplicate accounts that one is a Google account, and then the other may be an HMH Ed account, because we haven't made that connection here at this step. So if you get to the screen, please do not bypass it and go ahead and connect a Google or Microsoft account. And lastly, so we know teachers are savvy and they're going to want to remove or reorganize things within their Canvas course. And one of the big things that we've already experienced is that teachers are wanting to remove the Writable link from the course navigation. We don't suggest it because there's really no risk in having it there. If the students click on it, they will just navigate to Writable, which is fine. If there's no assignments there, they will just be accessing their Writable account, which they can do in their own time anyways. And then if you're worried about possibly burning a license, don't fret. It's fine. They can click on the link and it won't burn an additional license on each click. So if that's your preference to hide it, by all means, we don't control what you do in your classroom, but we do suggest that you keep it there so that it's an easier, faster way for users to get to Writable. One thing that we do here at Writable is we take user feedback very seriously. And one of the suggestions was to have an easier, quicker way to just launch into Writable without having to create that external tool assignment that Heidi went through initially. So if you click that Writable link, it'll take you right into Writable.
Yeah, and just real quick on that, Charlton. So if you see the Writable link in the left-hand navigation, it's because your tech admin chose for you guys to have that option. So in some districts, if Writable was only bought, let's say by 2 teachers or 1 whole grade level, but not the others, then they would choose not to put that there. But if it's showing for you, that means your admin has let you have it. And so then it's up to you whether you want to use it. But we just think it's easier to be able to have a quick bookmark into Writable versus having to create a whole LTI assignment even to get in there, right? So totally up to you, but that's a little bit of the explanation of why it's there.
Yep. And we have our live chat feature. So I am one of the folks that may be on the other side of our live chat. And if you need any assistance with Writable, there's this little question mark within the account. You click on it. It's got our Learn With Us section with articles and videos. You can search Canvas and pull up our Canvas related content in our Help Center. And if you still aren't finding what you need, click on the Chat With Us, and you should be able to send us a message and get some assistance.
So thanks for taking time tonight to do a little learning with us. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.